Marko here from Fair Realty, Victoria, BC, with your June 2025 real estate market update. Numbers here on the side of the screen. We had 761 sales in the month of June. This was 100 sales more than last year. However, on a 10-year average, we're still a bit below that average, primarily because 2016 and 2017 were such exceptionally strong years in terms of sales. They lift the average up. However, if we look at the median, we look at the last 10 years. This June was the fourth best June out of the last 10 years. Another interesting point is in June, we had 761 sales. In the month of May of this year, we had 758 sales. So we had 3 sales more in June than May. Why is this important? Because historically, if we look at the last 36 years, it's not very common that sales in June exceed sales in May. May is historically a stronger sales month. So the fact that we had a few more sales in June would suggest that the market is strengthening or improving in terms of sales. The 100 additional sales we had in relation to last year, most of those came from more condos selling this year. Why did more condos sell this year? I honestly don't have a good answer. My on-the-ground observations from selling my own condo listings, and I had quite a few condo listings sell in June, was the one common theme is my sellers that sold in June that owned condos, we priced them realistically in line with the market. It's a soft condo market. You have to price aggressively and realistically to have a chance at selling, and my sellers did that. So I think more sellers are aligning their expectations with a softer condo market. Buyers are seeing the value and sellers adjusting their expectations, and that's why more condos sold. The vast majority of condo buyers right now are owner occupiers. There are literally no investors in the marketplace buying condos to rent out at this point in time. When I say that, I'm talking about individual condos, not purpose-built rentals. Next up, new listings that came to market, 1,547. I'm not going to talk about this number too much. It's a 10-year high. It's actually an all-time record high. What's happening right now is the market is slow. There's a lot of listings, and a lot of sellers and listing agents are choosing the strategy of relisting properties. And when you relist the property, it doesn't increase active listings, but it shows up as a new listing. So this number is showing as an all-time record high in the last 36 years. But it's actually not reflective of how many brand new listings are coming to market, because so many sellers and listing agents are relisting properties, and listing agents and realtors weren't owners weren't doing this 25, 30 years ago. So we're going to quickly move over to active listings, 3,778. This is pretty close to a peak. A couple of months ago, I had mentioned I thought we might peak at 4,000. We're not going to hit 4,000. This number is probably going to hit 3,800 in the next week or two, and then it's going to taper down all the way until the new year. It's probably going to hit 2,200, 2,000 by January 1st. Why is this number not exploding, even though we set a 36-year high in terms of new listings coming to market? Once again, because a huge percentage of those new listings are properties that are being relisted. In my opinion, the Victoria Real Estate Board should ban the practice of relisting properties unless the seller is switching real estate agents. So on the whole, sales are not too bad. They're kind of middle of the road. Inventory is at a 10-year high. It's not horrifically high. The first 5 years of my career, active listings were 4,500, 5,000, so 3,800, yeah, 10-year high, but not crazy high. Single family home median, 1,145,000. It's down 54,000 from the month before. I would not read too much into that. This is just statistical variation from month to month. The last 6 months have ranged between 1.1 and 1.2 million. I'm also posting the last 4 years for the single family home median. As you can see, it's been relatively stable. We're basically into year 4 of a flat market. We've never seen a market go flat for longer than 8 years in Victoria. If you're looking to buy a single family home, after 4 years of flat, it's typically not a bad year to buy. The longer you wait, the longer you risk the odds of coming across a year where the market goes up more than 20% in a year. And that's happened twice in my 15-year career, 2016 and 2021, where prices went up more than 20% in 1 year. Condo median, 547,000. It's showing that it's up a bit from the month before. There's actually downward price pressure on condos. People are simply buying better condos. They're not buying garbage condos and garbage stratas. And as a result of people buying more quality for their money, it's not reflected in the statistics, even though there is downward price pressure. So I sold a condo, for example, in June for $470,000 in a really high quality building, charred building downtown. That building, that unit at the peak was $585,000. We sold it for $470,000. It would not be reflective in these numbers. People, as I said, are simply buying better units for their money. The last year, 4 years of the condo median relatively stable after prices did correct quite a bit from 22 to 23. So on the whole, I wasn't anticipating sales improving in June, especially after the Bank of Canada held the overnight lending rate. But at the end of the day, Victoria seems to be doing a lot better than the vast majority of markets across Canada. And I think it boils down to something very simplistic. It's a very desirable place to live. And when we have a soft market, it tends to go flat, slower sales, flat prices, rather than having these dramatics ups and downs. So we'll see what the next month brings. July 31st is the next Bank of Canada meeting. It's going to be interesting to see whether this increase in sales holds over the summertime. That's it for this week. Marko, Juras, Fair Realty.